Hello everybody, welcome to this screencast. We'll tell you a little bit about the online course for engineering, מתקדמים ב'. So we're going to go and look at the Moodle course where everything happens. The course is organized according to lessons or weeks, and each lesson gives you a little bit of information, the name of the article, the date that it starts. So just by clicking on the tabs, then you're able to get to the appropriate lesson. So let's look at the first part, the course overview, and this gives you lots of information. So if we look here, first of all, we have course announcements. This is important. This is where I send out information. It is on a forum, and what happens is that this information stays on the forum, but it also goes to your email account. So make sure your email account is up and running and check your email. If you accidentally delete one of the announcements from me, you can always come back to this, click on it, and you'll see the announcement. The course syllabus, I highly recommend that you look at it, read through it, make sure that you understand. This is a course overview which talks a little bit about the course. And there's a screencast for it here, so you're welcome to watch it. If you weren't in class, it's extremely important. And if not, you can always go back and refer to it. We've got attendance, and yes, there is attendance in this course. The way we take attendance is if you do the work, if you complete all of the work for the week, then you have full attendance. If you do half of the work, you have half attendance. Rubric for assessing writing, which we'll look at a little bit later. We'll talk about the syllabus and some of the requirements. There's a section called How To, which gives you just some things about how to do it. If you're not familiar with Moodle, and it's important to know how to do a Moodle quiz and see the feedback. I will be giving you feedback. It's extremely important to know that even if it is a closed quiz, you will get feedback. If there's an open question, you need to wait until I correct the question, and then you'll get feedback. And it's important to take a look at this if you don't know how to do it. There's some links to some digital tools. Let's open that. And you've got vocabulary.com, which is a great site for vocabulary. Nitro is a free PDF reader. Screenomatic is what I'm using because you may be asked to make a little movie. And Natural Reader, which will read the text for you. And it's good sometimes to hear the text while you're reading it. And working with Word documents in English. This is a video. You will be working with documents, and it's important to know how to do that without making your life difficult and my life difficult. So I strongly recommend that you watch this. And here you also have some various different kinds of links to sites that will help you on your own. There's a forum, so if you want to post something to your classmates, feel free. Chat, if I'm online, then just click in and you're welcome. So let's take a quick look at the highlights from the course syllabus. There are some points here which are important for you to know. So first of all, you can see that this is my email, and I do try and get back to people as soon as possible. And if you don't hear from me during the week, then after a few days, please send your email again. Make sure that it has a subject. Make sure that your name is clearly on it. First and last name, lots of Yosis. There are Shears, all different kinds of names. I do want to answer your email, and without that information, it's hard for me to do that. I have office hours. You can make an appointment with me on Skype, or I'm on campus on Wednesdays, and you can see me when I'm around and make an appointment. So how is the course formatted? Basically, it's online, but it's not what we call self-paced. Each week, the course opens up on Tuesday, and it ends on Tuesday. So you have that whole week to go into Moodle, do your work, submit your work, and at any time that's convenient for you. But the assignments must be submitted by Tuesday mornings at 8 o'clock. And if you did not complete the week's assignments, it's as if you did not attend the lesson. So, however, life does go on and life happens, and if you know that there's an issue, for example, your work is sending you out of the country, or you have Miluim, or even if you get really, really sick, which I wish you all great health, please be in touch with me and let me know what's going on before and not after. Content and instructional materials, well, we're going to be looking at purely academic articles, informative articles, executive summaries, opinion essays, empirical research, and other kinds of texts. They're authentic texts. They have not been edited, and we will be doing various things with them. And you're going to be working with interactive screencasts. That means that there's some kind of video, and you will answer questions about it. That also helps with your listening. PowerPoint, Word documents, PDF documents, and interactive quizzes. To go back for a minute for the content, we're working with reading. We're going to be working with writing, which I will be talking about in a few minutes. And when you listen to me like this, you're practicing your listening. Grade breakdown. Well, the class grade, 65%. And that's all of the work that you do during the semester. And a midterm exam, which is worth 15% of this 65%. And the final unseen, 35%. And you can see RupaNet in the syllabus for the dates of the exams. RupaNet will, of course, give you the place. I also invite you to go into this highlights of the syllabus, and if you're not quite sure how best to email me, take a quick look at this PowerPoint. So if we go back to our course, the course overview, I think we've covered most of the things that I want to look at in the course overview. So let's go to lesson 1. Now lesson 1 is a little bit different because it has two components, face-to-face and working online. So every lesson always begins with a welcome to lesson 1, and this gives you a little bit about what we're going to do, the goals and objectives of the lesson. For this face-to-face part of the lesson, you're going to be doing two things. You're going to be doing this, which right now you are doing, and you're going to look at a short text and answer some questions and submit it for me to look at. And this is how you're going to be working during the course. On your own, that's what you do on your own. You can begin it today. All the work is due next Tuesday, March 21st, or whatever date happens to be there. If I make changes for whatever reason, you'll see the due date. And here you have the various different kinds of texts that you're going to be working on. When you see Introduction to Books, Learn and Practice, it's going to teach you, or you're going to review some kind of reading, writing, listening strategy or skill. This is our text, and it tells you what part. It's an e-booklet, which means it's very, very long, but you're going to be working with pages 4 and 5 and pages 16 and 18 here. A Word document that's going to deal with vocabulary, a Moodle quiz that's going to deal with vocabulary, and a reading task. Now, one of the things we've added to our courses in the past year or so is writing, and you will have very clear writing tasks. So here you have two writing tasks, a screencast that gives you some information and review, and in this case it's a bonus task, some writing basics. If you do it, you get some extra credit. And I've also added language tips and tasks, which will review something that has to do with some kind of language. And you do get extra credit for that too. This is a checklist that will help you keep track of what you've done. And I can also see what you've done, what you haven't done. And here, the lesson 1 sum up and feedback. This is your chance to say something. And if you click on it, you'll be able to write me a note, which only I see, which gives you a little bit of information about, gives me information about what you found difficult, easy, interesting, and I will relate to your question. And I also sum up what you have done during the coming week and whether or not you've completed all the tasks, where you've done well, and perhaps where you're having a few problems. So it's really important to check that sum up and feedback. I want to go back for 1 minute and just very briefly, and I'll be doing this a little bit more in detail, is that there's a rubric for assessing your writing. You will be writing and we will be looking at various different aspects. So I suggest you look at this more carefully, and later on in the course I will be posting a screencast that explains how I'll be assessing writing. So now you have basically an overview of the course and how we're going to be working, and it's just my chance to say to you, I'm looking forward to a good semester and wishing you lots of success in the course.